Hello everybody, I'm Nick, and we finally have the first release of a brand new exciting feature in .NET called Extension Members. It's not quite the extension everything they had promised in the beginning. I think they're sort of splitting that original idea into two features, and we're getting this first preview of this first feature right now, which you can just download and play around with and provide feedback. Ultimately, that's why they're releasing it. So in this video, I'm going to show you everything you need to know about the feature and give some criticism. So let me show you what I have here. I have a simple console application where we have a list of integers, nothing fancy. And then I have an extension method over here I made on IEnumerable for integers to say that, hey, if a value is over a threshold, for example, if it's more than 5, then create a sub IEnumerable. And then I can go ahead, of course, and say console.writeLine and enumerate it, or simply say greater dot count to see how many items I would have in this list. So if I say .NET run here, what you expect to see? You expect to see 5. Perfect. And of course, if I change this to 8, you would see 2, and so on and so forth. So pretty straightforward. Now, for years, that's the only way you can add a method to something that doesn't have that method in C#. It's a great feature. Many languages still don't have it, and it has been utilized by many developers since forever. But ultimately what this is just an extension method. If you said, for example, extensions over here, dot were greater than, and you pass down the numbers, and then this basically is the same thing, but the compiler knows how to recognize it and deal with it in a different way. So fundamentally, it's simple. It's just compiler doing fancy, nice things. But what you cannot really have is extension properties or extensions on non-static members. You can only add a static method, and that is it. From C# 14 and .NET 10, you won't have to be limited to that. Let me show you what I have here in this new file. Now, we still have a static class called new extensions in this case, but now we can use a brand new keyword called extension, and now this is where the magic happens. But before that, I want to let you know that we're celebrating Dome Train's second birthday, so all of our courses from all of our authors are 40% off, including courses, bundles, workshops, as well as Dome Train Pro, our annual offering giving you access to all of our courses. We keep releasing so many courses once per week on average, so you don't want to miss it. Use code birthday2 at checkout to claim this discount. It expires on the 1st of May, link in the description, and let me show you how amazing this feature is. So what you want to specify here is the type in this extension block. So I'm going to say IEnumerable of type integer to imitate what I had before, and I'm going to say source. And I've actually went ahead and just commented out everything over here, so you can see this no longer compiles. We have to create it with the new syntax. And if I was to transfer what I had, I would just have this code. So public, something returns IEnumerable, same thing as before, the name, int, threshold, and the lambda over here. So same thing, but this one is not static. This becomes an instanced member of that IEnumerable. So if I was to go back here, now this magically compiles again. And if I change it back to 5 as I had before, and I say .NET run, you will see 5. Because now we don't have that static member. We have an extension member that it is an instance member, which is great. You can still do static, and I'm going to show you how you can do it in a second. But as you can see, simple as that, and now we have static members. But this is really cool that we can now do this and expand extensions to more things. It does sort of mean we now have two syntaxes to do the same thing in some cases, and then we expand on the second case. Then we'll talk about this problem later, because I can see code that we either have to migrate using the built-in refactorings that C# and Visual Studio and Writer will introduce, but don't keep two instances of the same feature in your code base, in my opinion. When this officially comes out, use the refactorings and move to this new instance. But what I'm also going to do now, which is really cool, is I'm going to say that, let's say I want to check if the collection is empty. So what do? Well, I say is empty, and now I have properties. So now I can say source.any, do we have any items? If we don't have any items, then it is empty. You can have that as a property. So if I want to print that out, I can say greater is empty, and this is my new property I just created. And if I just save and I run, false. It's not empty because it has 5 items. This is so cool. And it doesn't end here, because yes, you can have this generic nice syntax, but you can also use t-type parameters. So you can use truly like generics here. And as you can see, obviously this doesn't know what it's supposed to be. It's not a number basically. So how can we have the bigger operation? Well, up here you can say where t is an I number of t, making it a number that has these operations. So now not only do you have that thing, but it works for any type of collection that is an I-numerable of a number. So doubles, decimals, and so on. This is just so awesome. Finally, the language is sort of catching up with something that, quite honestly, should have been there. And I'm sure they wanted this for years, but we're finally getting it. And this will change how we write C# and a lot. And I love these features. If you'd like to know how you'd use something like this for, let's say, a static extension method, you would say extension. You can have many extension sort of blocks within a single class. I would say extension of, let's say, a list of type t. And I would have, just an integer here. Don't want to have the constraints. But if I do something like that, then I can say public static, so static extension list of an integer. And I'm just going to say create to create a new list. And I'm just going to use this syntax. So now, if I was to go here and I said var new list equals list of type integer dot create, now I have this method which creates that new list. And then I can say new list and use my where greater than or the is empty, which in this case it is. It's so cool. I really, really like this. And I'd like to see this expanded in more things. This is one of those features that truly changes how we write C#. And quite frankly, in the beginning, I didn't necessarily like the syntax, but it has kind of grown on me because it's very clear that this is an extension. Yeah, okay, another keyword in C#, yada, yada, yada. But you specify clear blocks. You can have multiple of them. You can have your limitation clauses and so on. And it's just so nice that we can have both static extensions, members, instance properties, static properties as well. I think you can have static properties. It makes sense that you would be able to. Let's say that is empty is always false. Yeah, of course, you can have static properties. So amazing, truly amazing. That's all we basically have in preview 3 of .NET 10. These are all the things you can do. But for a fairly pessimistic guy in terms of where C# is going, this is very refreshing. Yes, it is sort of reinventing the wheel with something we had, but this is massive that we can have these instant members that are extensions and we can have them anywhere we want with restrictions. Oh, this is so good. Please leave a comment down below and let me know, what do you think about this feature and will you be using it? And if so, what else would you want to see? Because Microsoft will check this video and look at the comments. So if you have any recommendations for them, leave a comment down below and let them know. They will read them. Well, that's all I have for you for this video. Thank you very much for watching. And as always, keep coding.